and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The time is 7:15. The date is March 7th, 2023. This is the City of Greensburg Planning Commission. Chris Stephen, City Attorney, opening the meeting for purposes of electing officers for this year's Planning Commission. At this time, I would open the floor for any nominations for President of the Planning Commission.
I nominate Kevin.
A nomination for Kevin Fleetwood. Is there a second? There's a multitude of seconds. Pick Roy, I heard that first. Kevin, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Is there any comment from the board? Any comment from the public? Hearing no comment from either, I would move to close, or entertain a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
So moved by Roy,
Second.
seconded by Alan. All those in favor of closing nominations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All those in favor of Kevin Fleetwood as president of the Planning Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Having heard none, that passes. We also need to do vice president, so I'd open the floor for nominations for vice president.
I nominate Mark.
Nomination for Mark, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Roy. Mark, do you accept?
I do accept.
Mark does accept. Is there any comment from the board regarding that nomination or any other nomination? Hearing none, is there any comment from the public regarding that nomination? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
So moved by Roy, seconded by. Wait a second. I didn't do a second.
I actually seconded. Rick.
Sorry.
Rick moved.
Rick moved and Roy seconds it. All those in favor of closing nominations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All of those in favor of, or all those in favor of Mark as vice president signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Finally, you need to address how you want to have your secretary for the year.
Well, we'll ask Amber if she'd be willing to be our secretary for the year.
I will.
Having said, I would nominate Amber.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, the use of Amber. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That passes. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. All right, time being 7:18, we'll have the public hearing that's on the agenda, which is the rezoning of property located north of Veterans Way and east of Smith Road, Greensburg, Indiana, from an R1 residential district to an R2, 1 or 2 family residential district. It's pretty straightforward. This is the area that's, I didn't bring my other printouts, but Sarah, what's this area going to be called?
Liberty Lakes.
Liberty, yes. And it's the TIF district up by the highway and the
By Lake Point Apartments.
thank you, Lake Point Apartments. Beacon and TIF's wanting to take that from an R1 to an R2 zoning. So, does anybody from the board have any questions of Sarah or Ron? Haven't heard none. I'd see if anybody from the public has anything to ask or address. Any questions on this rezone? Having heard none, I take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Today is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, and the time being 7:20 p.m. Meeting of the Plan Commission is called to order. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Amber, please call roll.
Evan,
Here.
Roy,
Here.
Rick,
Here.
Alan,
Here.
Tom,
Here.
Dick,
Thank you. All right, in your packet, you received two different minutes. One was for the public hearing we had on 12/6, and the other was for the regular meeting. Let's do the public hearing meeting minutes first. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to the public hearing minutes that were distributed via email? Having heard none, I take a motion to approve as submitted.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Public hearing minutes pass. Also in the same email, you received the regular plan commission meeting minutes from 12/6. Do I have any additions or corrections to those minutes? Having heard none, I take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. All right, those are approved. Old business, we have none. New business, the recommendation to city council for rezoning of property located north of Veterans Way and east of Smith Road from an R1 residential district to an R2, 1 or 2 family residential district. We had no comments earlier. I guess I would have to make maybe one comment that I think when that area was originally laid out, we were wanting to have nothing but residential homes there. With this change to R2, a little bit smaller lot size, which is no big deal, but R2 does allow duplexes. I guess my question to you is, could we make a motion that in favor of this rezone with the caveat that no duplexes can be built on it?
I don't think you can, because that would require you to actually make a
Change to the
zoning ordinance.
Okay, all right, just wanted to ask that question. All right, with that piece of information, does anybody from the board have any additional questions for this rezone?
I've got a question.
Okay,
Where are the entries and exits to it's gonna be, and how are they expecting it to be for buses? Is everything gonna be appropriate for buses to go in and out of that
I'm
area?
gonna ask Ron and our representative from, I believe, okay, I'd ask both of you to approach and answer the question for Mr. Hunter.
Tom, there is a single entry point that is on the north side of Veterans Way, just slightly east of Smith Road. There will be a cul-de-sac at the end of the street.
And will there be appropriate space for us to take a bus in there, turn around and come back out?
Yeah. My name's Bill Evans. I'm with Beacon Builders. We have offices in Indianapolis. To answer your question, yes, we're going to build it to the city standards of 30-foot wide curve. So there's no
The problem we run into that though is even with a building at that, sometimes with the way parking goes, we're not ever going to back a bus up. So we either have to be able to make the turn in there, or we only go to the entrance and pick up one or the other.
Okay.
So I just want that set up front, because I've had that battle a few other instances with builders, is afterwards, it's too late, because we will not take a bus in here if we have to back it up. So I just want you to know that up front.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay?
I do have one question, okay. When you go in off Veterans Way, the road runs, I guess, north and then goes east. There's, one of the drawings I saw showed a cul-de-sac. What's the diameter on that cul-de-sac?
I think we put it at 50, but I think if we look at it,
That's the radius or
that's the radius.
radius?
That's the it's a 40-foot radius curve for the asphalt. We have a 50-foot right of way, but if we have room to make it larger if it's warranted.
Which would be, at that 40 or 50, that's plenty big
If
enough.
nobody parks on it.
If nobody parks.
That's the same way with the fire department, trying to get a truck in and out there.
Again, I'm not trying to be difficult.
No, that's okay.
I'd rather be difficult tonight.
What we could do is, we could put no parking signs on one of the sides of the road in that area. We would be willing to do that. Yes.
Now, there's only gonna be one entrance and exit to this.
We have an emergency exit into the apartments. The apartments didn't want a connection to that road. So we're going to have an emergency exit that would lead back to them. It'll be padlocked, but they can snip it off and they can take it. We'll make it to the, city standards as well for the emergency access.
The emergency access is truly that emergency, it's not intended for public use. Kevin, you asked about a restriction on the property so duplexes can't be done. That discussion has been had with the developer
Yeah.
and with the redevelopment commission. I'm probably speaking out of place, speaking for the commission. I believe it's everybody's intent to put a covenant on the deed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I suspect that when you get the plat proposal, it'll have covenant language in there against duplexes in that subdivision.
Yeah.
That was the conversation had in front of, thank you for mentioning that,
We would go ahead and make a public statement that we would not build duplexes on that. So now it's a matter of record that we would not do duplexes.
And it needs to be on the deed in such a way that some future owner wouldn't or couldn't do such.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure it runs with the property.
I'm Mark Watkins, I've worked with Beacon as well. I wanted to show you the cul-de-sac. There's not too many homes on the cul-de-sac, so it'll be
Yeah.
left open
We left
and
those.
make sure that it's, there's no country buses.
30-40% of the radiuses.
Right, yeah.
Enforceable.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, then, you don't want it.
I don't know. But that's kind of a
We've
moral
done,
thing.
we've done a little bit.
Does anyone from the board have any additional questions?
Yeah.
Or off-street parking.
Having heard none, I'd ask, is there anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this rezone? Having heard none, I'd take a motion to move this to city council with a positive recommendation.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Kevin,
Yes.
Roy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dick.
Thank you. Next item, says adjourn, but I asked Sarah, do we have any, as of now, do we have anything for next month? Not that you know of offhand.
Thanks, Bill. Yes. BZA.
Well, I thought you said there was something else for plan.
I'm not aware of anything at the moment. If there is, I'll let y'all know, of course.
Having heard that, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Gentlemen, we are done.